us, the power pool is not so much the fact that we want to take merchant risk. It's the backup off-taker. When the lenders look at our PPA, so as to Paul's point, mines today shouldn't be the ones directly procuring on a long-term basis from new electricity suppliers. They are miners. They need to focus on mining business. So we step in and we buy on a 20-year basis from new generators without having the power pool to showcase to the lenders, look, in case we have a payment default from our industrial customers in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in South Africa, there is the power pool. And guess what? In a year and a half, the Southern African power pool will connect to the Eastern African power pool. So that expands the demand portfolio. The risk mitigation duplicates. The lenders look at it from the perspective of not only pool risk of sovereign demand, but also from pool risk across industrial customers that have different commodity prices. I think it's extremely exciting it's a critical minerals rush like it was a gold rush. It's very exciting if you're a government representative. For them, you really should leverage the funding from all these sorts of places. So that we see as an exciting tool. GreenCo is fun. The West is getting braver. So we have funding from the UK government and government of Denmark. That's our key funding. We'll see if our DFC funding actually goes through. It's been passed by Congress last October, but the proof will be in the pudding over the next few weeks. However, we were very, very clear with our shareholders that we will continue working with Chinese EPC contractors. We buy from from electricity generators. If a Chinese EPC contractor wins the tender, whether it be China Hydro or Power China, etc., then we absolutely will not agree to a restriction on us buying from an IPP supplier that has a Chinese EPC contractor. And that's a very important thing to note, that it shouldn't be one or the other. So we can still, maybe I'm saying it as a former Yugoslav and a non-aligned baby that is still indoctrinated in that non-aligned view, but we are very happy to say that both our UK and Danish shareholders are happy with that proposition, and in addition to that, are brave to be supporting us, unlike some other investors, to go into both the DRC and Zimbabwe, which is very exciting for us. It's super exciting. It's time for leadership. It is down to the governments to take advantage in the continent of the geopolitical realities, so it does not become the scramble for Africa. South Africa, G20 leadership, my goodness me, I'd love to be in government of an African country that is rich in critical minerals. You have the opportunity to play everyone for your benefit. If you have a good strategy, if you understand how you want to develop it, if you encourage hybrid models, 100%. Work with everyone for your own advantage. Clear policy, capital would follow. So it's down to leadership. For us, we can say whatever we think. We will all come in, but it's that clarity of leadership that is needed for this not to be the scramble, but for this to be a success story. And we can't wait. 100%. Globally, we do not. We see it at the moment. Absolutely not fit for purpose. And to be honest, if I was an African country, I wouldn't even bother with the global. I would just go to the global with my own proposition, with my own clarity. So what I would like to see is more regional, internal lens reflection, and then a proposition that then brings that capital for the benefit of the region. We are a regional player. Absolutely, we on the power sector side cannot see supply or demand on a national country basis alone anymore. It's not bankable, it's not enough, it's not sufficient, it doesn't bring enough investment. So that's what we want to see. G20, particularly South Africa, its leadership of the SADC, They're for leadership of the power pool, they're for leadership of cross-border trade, they're for leadership on the Africa Free Continental Treaty that should then come up with the propositions that say, let's take advantage of the geopolitical era of geopolitics that we have re-entered for the continent. We'd love to see that, because my goodness me, it's never been a more opportune position than now to literally play the rest of the world for the benefit of the continent. Optimism is the only thing we have. I can give you one example. Sorry to go into history. You know, former Yugoslavia, right? Cold War, division over an envelope, you know, by over 50-50 over Yugoslavia during the Cold War. We lived so well. Everyone fueled us with capital, the West and the East, Soviet Union and the West, so that we keep 50-50. We exported everything, fertilizer to Nigeria, fertilizer everywhere else, for a small country. And then what happened? The Cold War ended, the Berlin Wall ended, and we looked internally within ourselves and we started a war. Because we didn't have our own policy. We were doing the opposite of what I was saying the continent and the countries on the continent should do. Get the money, live well, happy merry, on the shoulders of both powers, and then, when the money is pulled overnight, 1990, 89, as the Berlin Wall comes down, we effectively start the war amongst ourselves. But as someone who lived through that and literally had a tank in my garden, aged 9, and seen that, then lived 20 years in London, I decided, no, I'm going to pack up my bags and move to Lusaka. So call it stupidity, call it optimism, but I'm full of optimism for the continent. And whatever historical lens has or entrenched, you know, financial capital ways have forbidden or not facilitate the ease of that leadership, at the end of the day, it's possible. I mean, we can see it, the G20 is there, South African voice is there, Rwanda, for all its good or bad, has done incredible. You know, you put a match in the Balkans tomorrow, we'll start the Third World War 100%. My own family members will, after a Sunday lunch, if you give them guns. I would rather invest, I swear to God, I would rather invest all my savings in Rwanda at the moment than I would in any country in the Balkans, including Croatia. Because there, put a match. My own family members, I swear to God, will kill each other. So, that's all I say.
Hello again, it's Mwelwa, and I am at the Westin Hotel about to have a very interesting conversation with our friends from Africa GreenCo. Wezi Gondwe, how are you?
I'm well, thanks, Mwelwa. Good to catch up with you again.
Absolutely.
Here at the Indaba in Cape Town.
Absolutely. I think this is our third rodeo, actually, at Mining Indaba.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're becoming a very permanent feature now.
Absolutely.
Of this event on the energy side.
Absolutely. Now, first and foremost, on behalf of myself and my team, I wish to congratulate you on your new role at GreenCo as Zambia's country CEO.
Well, thanks very much, Mwelwa. It's been a tremendous run with GreenCo, and as you saw from transactions we did last year, really I think entrenching our service to the market. I think we're very happy to have collaborated with the government, with ZESCO, with Stanbic Bank in doing our bit for the country in this energy crisis. But I think the challenge we have ahead is to consolidate and make good on our promise to deliver additional onshore generated clean power. And so I look forward to that challenge. We've got a great team, and I think we will see us making great strides in the coming months and years.
Absolutely, absolutely. And obviously, as we'd indicated, obviously, GreenCo has been participating in Mining Indaba. With this year, Financial Insiders obviously noted that you had a bigger team that came through. You actually have your own stand itself, and I think you've had one or two activities that you've been hosting at your event. Are you able to just share with us what the experience has been so far?
Yeah, so this year was the first time we had our own booth, at the Indaba. I think it's really just to, more fully announce ourselves in the market and celebrate with our stakeholders. As you know, we were granted our South African trading as
and
well
congratulations
as
on that
export
one.
license last year as well.
Yeah.
And so what you saw was, our teams from Zambia, from South Africa, as well, and colleagues even from the DRC, really coming together to present a very consolidated regional front.
Right.
And it was also good to see, I think, Zambia being very well represented totally. So our networking drinks yesterday on day one of the Indaba, we saw a good crowd and lots of interest in what we can do for clients in Zambia, South Africa, and beyond. So I think it was really great to have that, and thanks to all the wonderful people that came through that we invited, and all those that stopped by to learn about GreenCo and for us to learn about them, more importantly. So it was really good.
Absolutely, and as Financial Insight, we're super excited to obviously just track the GreenCo story, because we do understand that you guys are very innovative and thinking outside the box in terms of trying to find solutions that help countries such as Zambia that is currently facing a power deficit. What would you say in the near term the forecast looks like in terms of some of the activities that you foresee that you can share with us, and how the outlook looks like for the rest of the year?
No, thank you. I think in the course of this year, you will see us signing up additional capacity from onshore generators in Zambia and Zimbabwe and South Africa. We want to ensure that we consolidate our pipeline for the coming years. We will have our first onshore generated electrons flowing by the middle of this year from a key transaction or project we are working on. Our second project will reach financial close as well in the second quarter of this year, and we'll start generating electrons next year. Right. So that's the foundation, and we are building on that. We are building a diversified portfolio in terms of wind, solar and hydro, so ensuring that we're maximizing all the resources and bringing in complementarity into our generation portfolio. So you will see a steady growth in the capacity that we are signing on, and that will translate into a steady addition of capacity to our grid. So that's very exciting to transition now into a fully operational phase. Having done a lot of foundation laying and groundwork over the past 3.5 years or so, we are now transitioning into where we are now, putting power on the grid. Absolutely. So that's very exciting for us.
Absolutely, no, super exciting. And as Financial Insight, we always love a GreenCo story, because you guys are the happy people.
Indeed, we are. It's it's all the energy that we generate and maintain that propels us forward, and we keep a very positive outlook. We have challenges across the region, but as you said, when we lead with innovation, when we take a moment to stop and reconfigure the challenges and see the solutions come through, that's the energy of a company of GreenCo, and it's what sustains and drives us forward. So for us, it's onward and upward, and we hope to be back here next year, talking about even more milestones. Absolutely.
Wezi Gondwe, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Mwelwa. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. So there you have it. You've heard from yourself, from the country CEO for Zambia, Wezi Gondwe, who has been speaking to us on the sidelines at the Westin Hotel of the Mining Indaba 2025. So stay tuned for more insights on the GreenCo story and other stories on all our platforms. Get to know.
just to go back a little bit, African independence goes back to the 50s, the 60s, in terms of political independence. But economic independence hasn't yet happened. And part of the reason why that hasn't happened is because the local institutions have not sufficiently addressed the gap in terms of financing. There is a dependency on international investment in African economies. And I think the local institutions that are based in the various countries need to step up. So for example, we as Zanaco are based in Zambia, and during the time that the Zambian debt restructuring process began, when there was a challenge on the fiscal side over a couple of years ago, we realized that Zanaco was the only bank that could step into that gap because no one else was lending in our market. And then we turned that into an opportunity, and Zanaco grew in leaps and bounds. And so what became clear to us is that the local institutions actually have the capacity, as long as we have the courage to step up into the gap, address the gap, mitigate the risks, because obviously financing is also about mitigating risks, and actually support the local economy sufficiently. Over the last year or so, we also had the drought in Zambia, and what we had then was an energy deficit and also a food deficit. And again, we as Zanaco, being a large Zambian bank, stepped into that. We financed farmers, we financed the energy sector, up to about $171 million at that time. And what has now happened is that the sector has opened up and there are others coming in. So the local financiers, much as their pocket may not be as significant, what is clear is that when the local financiers step in, everyone else then wants to come in. Credit profiles are about data. And historically, as Africans, we haven't been very good at putting together our data. And a lot of the SMEs that you're referring to, a lot of the African institutions struggle with that. However, today, with the digital solutions that we have, I think we need to just look at things a little bit differently and put together data sets that then help us to assess the risk in a different way and put together the information historically to then predict the future. So I believe that in Africa, we have leapfrogged the rest of the world in terms of our digital solutions and the use of technology. And this is another space that we can take advantage of that. Because with mobile phones, you can track people's credit information and history and put together a data set that will then predict their likelihood to pay off a loan. So for example, we as Zanaco use that information for some of our digital solutions. And we believe that having tested the market, this can grow into something bigger, even for businesses and for other players in the market and on the continent. So it's nascent. This is just starting with the digital solutions to small individuals on a micro basis. So for example, even within this conversation, there's a lot of discussion about local banks. What does that mean? Local capital markets, what does that mean? I think we need to broaden our perspective beyond what is viewed as local if we're going to break these silos from an African perspective. So the capital markets are fragmented in Africa, and a lot of them are actually quite shallow because there isn't that confidence and support from the local financiers. They would rather, so for example, our pension funds would rather keep their money outside of the continent. And if you just quantify how much that is, and if you just onshore those monies, it would deepen those markets quite significantly. So I think a starting point is identifying where is the capital flow going to, why, and what do we need to do to deepen our own capital markets in individual countries as well as an African continent. And then I think the earlier point that was raised regarding creating a joint institution that then addresses some of these challenges and also utilizes the wealth of African resources as a backing solution to then give us that leverage into the future from a financial perspective. I think that's also a critical piece that we need to look at. When you look at where the critical minerals are, 30% are sitting in Africa. You look at other minerals, there's a significant portion sitting in Africa. So why can't we use those resources, deepen our capital markets, bring in the equities, bring in the financing to actually fund the solutions that we need to deal with our people's requirements? You're here today. We've had the discussion regarding homegrown solutions. When we're talking about these solutions, it's about each and every one of us participating and making a difference. So what are each of us going to do about the possibility of coming together as Africa to set up a securities exchange or a financial institution that will then address the financing gap? That is the first homegrown solution. The other thing that we can do is, in our respective areas, how do we identify what more we can do? So we as Zanaco are dealing with the last mile. We're the institution that is covering the gap for Zambia. We're ready to work with you. Come to Zambia, talk to us. If you're already in Zambia, talk to us about what we can do together, because we believe that it's about collaboration. We're not in this alone. We're together as Africans, and we can do this.
Hello everyone, it's Mwelwa again on day 4 of investing in African Mining Indaba. I'm currently at the Zanaco pods on the tail end of what has been an exciting 2025 edition of Mining Indaba, and I'm about to have a conversation with the head of Client Solutions, Chanda Chimekatongo. Chanda, how are you doing?
I'm good, Mwelwa. How are you?
I'm exhausted. It's been such a busy week doing media coverage for Team Zambia, lots of corporates that needed our services, and yeah, it's just been one of those Indabas which continues to Indaba out. But you guys have also equally been very, very busy.
We have. We've had a number of engagements, a number of sessions. We had our Zanaco cocktail last night, which had 2 cabinet ministers from Zambia attending. Wow. So we have had quite the busy week, but I must say it's been very fruitful. I can imagine.
But let's get straight into it. This is, Financial Insight understands this is year 4 of Zanaco's participation, in Mining Indaba. Are you able to just walk us through what the journey has been like to get, in terms of Zanaco's participation and what you've seen that has evolved from a Zanaco perspective?
So Zambia being the 2nd largest copper producer on the continent for copper, so we realized that mining is very critical for our country. And because it's critical for our country, it's very critical for Zanaco. And so we started coming to the Mining Indaba 4 years ago. And what we've done is we've grown our presence at the Indaba since. Initially, we just started as participants, and then we would set up our booths. So we've got 3 meeting pods this year. We're also part of the Zambia Pavilion in the exhibition hall. And I must say that we are the only bank that is part of the Zambia Pavilion. And this is our 3rd year being part of the pavilion. And so for us, we are doing this because we see the importance of mining for our country. And then also our clients are here. So we're positioning ourselves as not only a bank that's supporting mining, but pretty much all sectors. Because when you look at mining, you also see that there are other sectors that are linked to mining, and that's the value chain. So you've got the energy sector, and we've had meetings with our different partners and our different clients who are in energy, and also potential clients that are looking to come into the country. You also have transport. And so for us, we've met with all sorts of partners, all sorts of potential clients that are looking to come and invest in the country. And I think the government has been emphasizing that Zambia is ready. As Zanaco, we believe that Zambia is ready. We believe that we're ripe for the plucking, and we're looking forward to having as many investors coming in. And the reason why we're here positioning ourselves is for those investors that are looking to come and invest in Zambia, they know that they have the right financial partner. And we see ourselves as a financial partner that understands the Zambian market. We're a Zambian bank. We've been in Zambia for over 55 years. We understand our economy, we understand our market, and for all those investors looking to come into Zambia, this is an opportunity to work with an organization, a financial organization that understands the country.
Talk about assisting various stakeholders within the mining value chain. What sort of services is Zanaco providing, and for some entities that want to seek out mining, can they come to talk to Zanaco to hold their hand through the process of how they become a player in mining?
Absolutely. We've got expertise in mining within the bank in terms of our relationship management team that actually works with the mining sector. We are about to set up an office on the copper belt that will particularly look at the mining sector.
That's skin in the game.
That is definitely skin in the game, and that's how important the mining sector is to us as a bank. And so we offer an array of products and solutions for our clients. And, we are open for business. We're open to have a discussion with our clients depending on what their needs are. We finance both green and brownfield projects. And I don't think every financial institution would be able to do that. But we do as Zanaco. So, please come and talk to us. And we'll help and partner with you.
Absolutely. Now, on a final note, obviously you leave Indaba, and I can tell that Team Zanaco is quite exhilarated. What is post Indaba? What are we to expect from the bank in terms of what the key learnings that you've actually had from here in terms of you guys now being able to assist stakeholders that want to be in mining?
So firstly, I must mention that over the last few years, Zanaco has financed mining projects worth $240 million. Wow. And this is just testament to the fact that mining is very critical to us, and we're looking to grow this. We want to come with a bigger number even next year. And so for us, what we're taking away from this Mining Indaba is pretty much the fact that we want to continue to provide finance for the value chain. For us, value addition is very critical. And I think we need to look past exploration. We need to look at what value can we add. We need to look at sustainability elements in mining. We also need to look at the inclusivity in mining as well. And I think for us, that's some of our key takeaways from the sessions that we've had today and over the last few days. And I think just picking from what the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development have been saying, Zambia is open. Come and talk to us and we'll be able to solution for you. And as Zanaco, we see ourselves as the right financial partner to be able to support.
Absolutely. Now, Chanda Shime, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Mwelwa. Thanks for having me.
There you have it. You've heard from yourself. So we've been visiting Zanaco and we've had a very exhilarating conversation. This is Mwelwa Chibesakunda at Mining Indaba 2025. And for everyone that wants to hear about the Zanaco story, you can go to their website and get all the information. And I believe they can actually reach out to you because, you guys are open for business to everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, and continue to watch the Financial Insight platform for more contents. This has been Mwelwa Chibesakunda. Get to know.